Hey guys, how's it going? So recently, a lot of you on both YouTube and my Facebook group have been asking me thoughts on building an AR-15 or just getting into the AR-15 and whether you should build one, buy one, and if you're going to buy a budget one, what would it be? Or if you're going to build one, what would I recommend? So today, I thought I'd do a little unboxing video of a rifle build kit, and this is from Palmetto State Armory, and this is their 16-inch M4 profile carbine. So this is basically just a real economical build kit. This is their Freedom edition, and Freedom is kind of just a bare bones AR-15, and this is not going to be a complete gun here. This is going to be their build kit, but I'm going to show you this, go over it, and give you my thoughts on how to get started into building your own AR-15 if that's what you want to do. Okay, so I just took this out of the box, and this is the PSA Freedom 16-inch carbine build kit. And before I get started too much more, first of all, I'm not going to build this on camera today. I don't do any building of any type of firearms on this channel, but there's other videos if you search for it that will help you and assist you in building this if you'd like to. And really, any type of build should be done by a qualified gunsmith, just as a disclaimer, but a lot of people are enjoying building their own rifles, pistols, carbines themselves. So right off the bat, Freedom kit, $2.99. This is Palmetto's entry level or economy build, if you will. However, there's some quality components in these. I've built several of these before and never had a problem with the Palmetto AR-15 rifle or build kit. So in my opinion, these are generally good to go. Is this going to be a BCM? No, it's not a top shelf rifle. However, for people just getting started, we're talking $300, and that's the current price at the time of the filming of this video. But I think this is an economical way to get into the AR-15. And yes, the AR-15 is a great rifle. It's one that I recommend, and let's face it, it's America's rifle. And the great thing about that is parts are cheap for these, magazines are cheap, the 223 or 5.56, because this will shoot both, basically the same caliber with minor differences, is readily available, very cheap. So I love plenty of firearms, as you guys know that have been watching this channel for a while, but that does include the AR-15, and I think really every gun collection or gun owner should have one of these for life and liberty, home protection, hunting, many other things. So we're just going to go through this. Basically, I'm going to give you guys my impression of this build kit, and I'm also going to show you guys some stripped receivers in a little bit, because remember, this is just a kit. This can be shipped to your home. There's no firearm included in this at all. Nothing here you see is legally the firearm. You're still going to need to get a stripped lower, and I'll show you a couple options for those in just a minute. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go through this, and I'll kind of show you guys what you get and a little bit about these kits and my opinion on it. Alright, so the first part of this kit I'm going to go over is what's referred to as your upper, your complete upper. So this includes the receiver, the upper receiver, the barrel, things like that. So let's go through this here and see what we've got. So first of all, we have what's called the upper receiver itself, which is this piece right here. It is constructed out of aluminum, and this is a 75 T6 aluminum, and it has a hard coat anodizing on it, and this is what's referred to as an A3 type upper. And what we'll notice here on our upper receiver is this is already complete, including the barrel, everything. So as far as putting it together, this is all good to go, ready to be pinned right onto your lower receiver after you build that. So that's what's kind of cool about buying one of these from Palmetto as a completed receiver. You really don't have to do anything to this whole assembly. So just keep that in mind. So if we look at our upper receiver here, it has the forward assist and all of its components already built in, which is a good thing. We see our dust covered door and hinge and spring assembly already there, so that's already installed for us. Moving to the top, we see that there's a Picatinny rail across the top section. This is to mount your optics, your sights, any other types of things like that. And we'll notice it is T-marked. You can see that they have every other rail marked with the letter T and a number. And what this is simply for is if you have an optic, let's say it's a red dot, and you put it on number T6, and then you take it off for whatever reason, but it was sighted in just perfect. Well, now you have a numbering system to know right where to put it. So that's a good idea. And with this being an A3, it has the shell deflector built into it. That's to kick the brass away from the user, assuming you're a right-handed shooter. So we're looking at basically a mil-spec, just kind of a standard A3 upper, ready to go to mount whatever type of rear sight or optic of your choosing. So pretty cool so far. Let's go forward a little bit here. We have our handguards, and these are the two-piece round style handguards that do include metal heat shields that you can kind of see the reflection of right through there. We can also see our gas tube that's going to interface with our bolt carrier and come all the way up to the front here where we see our, this is two functions. This is our gas block. It's sending gas from a hole in the barrel back through this gas tube, and it's impinging upon the bolt carrier to cycle the action of this rifle. And this is also what's referred to as an A2 style sight. So you can see there's your front sight right there. And this front sight assembly is F marked, and it includes your swing swivel on the bottom here and your bayonet lug here. So pretty standard so far, kind of a military style, if you will. Now our barrel, this is an M4 profile barrel. We can see the cut right here. That's part of the M4 profile. Coming up front, we can see there's an A2 birdcage style flash hider. This is to reduce the flash of the rapport of the round. This is not a muzzle brake or anything like that, and this is pretty much, again, standard issue in United States service. And it has its crush washer already installed, torqued down, and ready to go. Now these barrels have a 1-in-7 twist rate. They're made of 4150V chromoly steel, which is a nice steel, tried and true. You know, this is a pretty good steel, especially for such an entry-level price. So the barrel's good to go. Chambered in 5.56 NATO, which means it's also compatible with the 223 Remington. So there you go there. Nice ammo compatibility. And I have a couple ammo boxes right here to show you. Here's the Federal American Eagle line, and this is chambered in the 5.56 NATO, 55 grain. This is a nice round, tried and true, brass case. This stuff's available online for usually about $6 a box. Now, we've also have a cheaper option here at about $4 a box. Here's some of the Wolf Polyformance 223 Remington. 55 grain, steel cased. If you guys don't want to shoot steel cased through your AR, I'm fine with that. I don't care. Me, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I'm saving a significant amount on ammo, and again, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not worried about it ruining my rifle, especially with how much I'm going to save, but I'll leave that up to you guys. It's your hard-earned money, you know. Think for yourself on that. But either way, $6 a box for 20, $4 a box. Yeah, these are pretty affordable guns to shoot. And this gun is chambered to handle either the 223 or the 5.56, which is pretty nice. So now we have a couple components that are held within the upper receiver, and this would be our bolt carrier group, which is going to include our carrier and the bolt itself, as well as our charging handle. So let me cut this zip tie, and we'll take a quick peek at these components. Nice strong zip tie there. This is a sharp knife. I got it. The zip tie is not going to get me on this one. Alright. So there's a little latch here on the charging handle. I'm just going to depress that. Start to pull back a little bit. I'm not going to try to pull this all the way out, just so far, and now I'm going to grab onto my carrier. I'm going to pull it out, and it just comes free of the upper receiver. While we're at it, we're going to take out our charging handle. You're going to pull it back so far, and it's going to act like it's not going to want to come out. Well, just kind of move it forward a little bit. You'll find a little spot where it fits, and it just comes right out like that. So basically, you're going up and in, and down and out. So I've had new people come to me before and say, how do I get this charging handle out? Just remember, there's a little trough. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, that this goes into up there, and you're just basically going to find the little recess. You can see the recess it's kind of blocked by the receiver. But yeah, just remember to get it out, down, and then pull the charging handle out the rest of the way. And this is kind of just a basic charging handle, to be honest. It's made out of primarily aluminum. It has your springed latch, you know, built into it. And these are plenty good. This kind of charging handle's been getting it done for a long time, and it'll certainly be fine as a starter. There are some more advanced options out there with larger, you know, T portions and things like that. So you guys can always upgrade this later. And this is yet another reason why the AR-15 is so cool. they kind of call it adult Legos for a reason, right? Because there's so many aftermarket parts and accessories, upgrades for both function, cosmetics, durability that you can buy later on for your AR-15. But this is plenty good for what we're starting with, which is a budget build. So there's our charging handle. I'm going to set that aside. And now we have our what's called our bolt carrier group. And within that, we're going to have the bolt itself, which we're going to see right here. It turns and moves in and out at the same time. A little bit of friction because there are what's called gas rings on this bolt. This is perfectly normal, but everything appears to be functioning just fine right now. And I'm not going to take this apart any further, but this is what's called the bolt and carrier group. Okay, so our bolt right here is a mil spec. It's phosphate finished, magnetic particle inspected. We can see MPI right here. And this is made of a Carpenter 158 steel, which does meet the United States mil spec and otherwise known as military specifications. Okay, now for the carrier itself. So this is also phosphate, otherwise known as Parkerized finish. We can see the serrations cut here for your forward assist, which is nice. This is made out of 86/20 steel. It features a hardened gas key. This is the part where the gas actually impinges upon. It is fastened with grade 8 fasteners, which are staked. See those little dimples there? That's literally them hitting it with like a punch or a chisel to crush the metal around there. So in other words, this is not going to come off. So that's what you always want to look for in a bolt carrier. You know, grade 8 fasteners, hardened key, as well as your staked fasteners. So we're looking pretty good to go there. The inside portion where the bolt itself moves in and out is chrome lined, which is again mil spec. It features the firing pin here, as well as your retainer right there. And this is basically just a completed BCG ready to go. Comes kind of dry. I would definitely put a little oil on the contact surfaces, both here and here. Some people oil the crap out of their AR. It's up to you. You can put couple drops of oil through these little holes. That's another tried and true method, but there you go. There's basically your basic mil spec BCG. And I would note, this is of the M16 profile, otherwise known as full auto profile. Now, is this full auto? No, it's not. However, other types of BCGs out there have modified where they cut portions of them out and stuff. I would always go with an M16 profile if I were you, and that is what's included in here. And this is also looking good. So we basically have a completely ready to go barreled upper that's upside down, but it looks good either way, right? And our BCG mil spec ready to go, 4150 barrel here, chromoly, nice steel, basic A2 platform with the sights, the birdcage flash hider, M4 profile. And the other thing I would note real quick too is what's called your receiver extension, which is up in here. It's kind of hard to see. This is where your bolt is going to interface, right? And it's going to lock in place. There's what's called the feed ramp, and that features the more updated M4 profile, because past AR-15s, you know, generations older, and M16s used to have a little bit different profile feed ramp, and the M4 is considered kind of the most upgraded specification of that, which is going to lead to more reliable feeding of your ammunition. So there's really not much more to this. The upper is built already from the factory from Palmetto. I would note it is also made in the USA from all USA made parts. Palmetto does source these from a United States contractor. The actual upper receiver itself, which is just this piece right here, that is a mil spec factory. And yeah, made in America right here. Every last thing that you see here, according to Palmetto, is indeed made in America. So I think it's pretty cool. And I'm just kind of starting it in the charging handle there, and then I can just keep pushing forward, and you'll hear the click from the latch of your handle, and we're ready to go right now. This is literally ready to be pinned on to either your completed lower if you have one, or if you have a, if you're going to be building it in a few minutes here. And I'm just going to bring this out just a little bit to show you guys real quick that this does have the forward assist. Okay, see how every time I press that, it's inching the carrier forward. And if you ever have a round that doesn't feed all the way, you can just slam this really hard. That's the way you're supposed to do it, and it's going to help chamber that round. Some people like using a forward assist, some don't, but this is generally going to be found on a military rifle, and they do include it here for you. Alright, here's the second part of the kit, which is basically the bag of parts. So I'm going to open that up real quick here. I'm not going to go through every last detail. This is just kind of to show you guys what you get when you buy a parts kit and whether I recommend. And while I open this up, let me just say this. This is something I would recommend to you guys if you're just getting into the AR. You know, it's not that Palmetto is my favorite brand. There's other good ones too. But we're looking at 300 bucks right now for this complete kit. And for some reason, it's hard to open this package here. But yeah, for 300 bucks, you basically have everything, literally, except for your stripped lower, which I'm going to show you guys in just a minute. And the only thing I'm really not liking about this so far is this bag, because it appears to have perforations at first, but they're just tricking you. It won't actually open very easy. Alright, I got it. I can cut that out, but maybe I'll just leave it in there. I always like you guys to be able to laugh at me at least once, right? Because I'm always doing something on here for you guys to get a chuckle over. Alright, this is several separate bags here. I'm just going to open them up real quick and show you guys the basics here. Okay. So we have our basic M4 style buttstock. This is going to be a 6 position. You just pull the lever down and it moves back and forth. On our buffer tube, which is right here. So here's our buffer tube with our end plate right here. We have our recoil spring, and we have our buffer. So this is all pretty much ready to go as a complete assembly. This is going to require, you know, obviously being assembled and fitted to the lower receiver. And then we have all of our small parts. This is our lower parts kit, and it just includes a pistol grip, trigger, pins, detents, tons of teeny little parts here. If I may give you guys a recommendation, although, like I said earlier, really this stuff should be built by a qualified gunsmith. But you're adults, you'll decide if you want to do this yourself or not. And I personally have no problem with you building it yourself. I would look for something online called an OOPS kit, is what they're called, their spare parts kit. It's going to come with a lot of these extra little springs and detents, because your very first time, at least mine and most people I know, you're going to lose a little detent or a little spring, and it's going to stop you right in the middle of something that would be normally really fun, and it can ruin your day if you have to go online and order this 50-cent little piece. So just look those up. That's just a little hint I'll give you guys, a tip. It's going to help you. They're about 10 bucks, and they're going to come with like 20 little different parts that could literally go flying across the room. So just keep that in mind. Those are available, and I would strongly recommend it because it's just a peace of mind. And plus, you have spare parts, even if you don't lose anything, in case something wears out later on. So there's other videos on YouTube, guys, on all the little parts. That's not really the purpose of this video. I just wanted to show you guys what you get when you buy a parts kit. Now I'm going to show you what else you're going to need to finish this, where you're going to have a completely functional carbine. So you're going to need what's called the lower receiver. And in this case, all you're going to need is a stripped lower, meaning there's nothing in it, because everything's included in that kit I just showed you. So here's Palmetto's basic stripped lower receiver. Okay, just a basic mil-spec anodized aluminum. These are good to go. There's nothing especially fancy about them, but any Palmetto receiver I've ever used has always been within spec. You can see right there, Palmetto State Armory, South Carolina, with their logo right there. And some of you might like to get the Palmetto lower receiver because you're building it with a Palmetto upper, and everything will be the same brand. And these are generally, it just depends when you get them. I know right now they're having their Valentine's Day weekend sale, and these are $50 with free shipping. So this is a firearm. You're going to have to get this sent to your FFL, and they're going to charge you whatever transfer fee they do. And this will be transferred as a receiver, and you're going to fill out the same paperwork, background check, whatever you normally do with this, as you would if you bought the full, complete carbine or rifle. So just keep that in mind. This is the gun, or the firearm, legally, from ATF. Everything else I showed you is not a firearm. It's just parts. It doesn't require any serial number, all the other stuff. It doesn't require any type of FFL, but this does. So this is the firearm. Now you may choose to buy one of these local from your local gun shop, because by the time it gets shipped and then the FFL fee, Many of you are going to find these are more affordable at your local gun shop. And these Palmettos are nice, but I always encourage doing local business, you know, whenever you can. So a couple options there. Here's another very popular stripped lower receiver. This is the Anderson. These go for 40, 50 bucks. I've recently seen a sale on these for as cheap as $35. So these can be rather affordable. These are kind of the same thing, if you will, as this Palmetto. Really no difference in my opinion, quite frankly. The forgings themselves are probably made at the same place if I had to guess. Maybe not, but you guys know what I'm saying. They're identical. They're mil-spec, and yeah, these will both work just fine with your lower parts kit that's included in your build kit. And then if you want to get a little fancier, here's another option I have that I really like. Now this is a Spikes Tactical right here. Spikes are a little bit more expensive, but here's a cool one. And this one I think cost me about $115. And this is a basic lower. This does have the solid trigger guard, which I like. Your parts kit is going to come with the trigger guard, though, that pins in place for these style. And if you buy a closed, you'll just have a couple little teeny extra parts that you can keep for later. But this is a Spikes. This is what they call their Snowflake 15, okay? And I think it's actually pretty cool. If it'll zoom in on here, it's having a hard time with that color fill right now, my camera is. But you guys have probably seen these Snowflake 15s. You can definitely look them up. There we go. Snowflake. Caliber multi. Mod ST15. And basically the selector markings say safe space, triggered, and full lib turd. So I like that. And this is for the color filled option right here. About 115 bucks. There's also some color fill on your selector markings, which are on both sides. And I really like this lower. Now you can get this same exact lower in the non-color filled. It'll all just be black for about $93 to $95. So yeah, that's another option, and this is going to be completely compatible with your AR-15. So there's just a few options. Now the parts kit's also not going to come with a magazine. This is a basic D&H mil-spec, if you will, aluminum. This is the ones you get from Palmetto that has the Palmetto logo on the floor plate. These are a mil-spec. They have the nice mag pull, anti-tilt, green followers in them. More of a foliage green, right? And these go for about 10 bucks or so online, you know, ish. Palmetto often has deals where you can get a 10-pack of these bundled with a case or sometimes a red dot. And just look for these on sale. Sometimes they're even 8 bucks, but your mag pulls are going to be good. 50 other brands of mags that are good, but this is kind of where you start. And I've never really gone wrong with a regular old mil-spec mag myself. So there you go. 8 bucks, 10 bucks, maybe 12. Plenty of bundle deals there. So that's kind of what you're looking at. 300 bucks for the parts kit. You're looking at $35 to $50 for a basic lower plus FFL. Might be cheaper to buy it locally. Let's say 10 bucks for this. You're at about $360. By the time you add on your FFL, your shipping, all your sales tax, it's going to be over $400, but there you go. That's you putting together your own rifle. Now your lower's going to be built, and again, these are kind of Legos. You can buy many different calibers of uppers and all those types of things that you guys can look into later. But yeah, I would definitely recommend getting into the AR if you haven't yet. 5.56 I think is the caliber I would start with first. I'm a big 6.5 Grendel fan. 300 Blackout. I even think the 9mm ARs are cool. But if you're brand new to this, I would seriously, strongly consider, and again, it's totally up to you, but you guys have asked for my advice, so here it is. Start with a 5.56 223. The ammo's cheap. It's low recoil. Your wife's going to love it. Your kids, if they're old enough to shoot, are going to love it. It's not going to hurt you with the recoil. 5.56. It's just like I said, the main round, cheap, easy to use, easy to find parts for. That's what I would start with. And then if you really like the AR platform, you can go from there, and there's plenty of calibers that are compatible right with all your lower parts, and you can buy completed uppers later on that you just use the 2 pins and pin them on and off. You may decide to build your own upper later from scratch. It's kind of like the sky's the limit. And here's why I like to build one. You can get good mil-spec parts with what I've recommended here with Palmetto and these receivers, this type of magazine. I know you're good to go. Now, when a firearm is built by a manufacturer and sold to you, there is an excise tax, and I believe it's about 11%. that they get charged by the federal government and they have to pass on to you. If you purchase it as an incomplete firearm, meaning the parts kit separately and the receiver separately, you avoid the 11%. See, there is some money to save there. Plus, if you like to tinker, there's the satisfaction of doing it yourself, or you can take it to your local gunsmith. So there you go. Now, when I say buy them separately, I mean it's two different items in the cart. You can purchase the upper and the lower all on the same bill or transaction with the magazine and everything from Palmetto. That's totally fine. They're going to ship the upper and the magazine and any ammo you bought to your house, and this is going to get shipped to your FFL that you provide to them. They're not going to send a gun to your house, guys, so don't worry about that. You just can't have it assembled by the manufacturer with all of this put together, or you're going to get the 11% excise tax that you don't really notice, but trust me, it has to be passed on to you, and that is part of the reason why you can build a little cheaper than you can purchase completely assembled. Now, there's other brands of completed rifles that are good to go, and a lot of them are okay, but I'm just going to recommend this because people have been talking about, you know, building, putting them together, and things like that. So let me know what you guys think. Is there anyone that has any more build questions? Again, I'm not going to build on here. It's against policy, and I'm just not going to do it. But there are channels that still do have their build videos up. I encourage you to do a search, and you guys can see how to put one of these together. And yeah, there you go. So this isn't really me endorsing Palmetto as much as me just telling you I think they're fine and they're good to go. And this just happened to be the only completed parts kit that I have here that I can show you guys. But there's other people out there, other companies that also make great stuff that might be just as good as Palmetto. It might be cheaper than Palmetto. I don't know. This is just all I had. And I certainly felt comfortable enough recommending it to you because I've kind of had quite a few Palmettos between myself and different friends of mine and stuff. And I've been around them and, you know, kind of just good to go. So there you go. And one more thing. When you buy one of these that has the flat top upper on it, one little piece I don't want you to forget about. While it does come with the front sight, gas block front sight here, it does not come with a rear sight. So you're going to have to either buy like a flip up style sight or a scope or a red dot optic. So that'd be one more thing that you can buy to your liking. A lot of completed rifles that they sell as a flat top also don't come with a rear optic. So I just didn't want you guys to forget about that. In case you ordered everything and you want to do a shooting with it the same day it all came in, you need something in the back for a rear sight. And that could be a Magpul flip up sight, 10 other brands, red dots, green dots. The sky's the limit, guys. This is the AR. This is a standard Picatinny type rail. You can put about anything you want on here. So there you go. Yeah, I hope I answered you guys this question. I tried to cram a lot in here. It's already getting to be a little bit of a long video, so let me know what you guys think. You guys have been sharing a lot of your builds with me on my Facebook group, on YouTube, and it was fun hanging out with you guys. I hope you guys had a good time looking at Freedom here. This is called the Freedom Kit, and I truly believe the AR is part of the freedom of this country. The more AR-15s we get in the hands of good people, this is a good thing. So I encourage you, if you're on the fence, to get into this type of firearm, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.